and welcome to Tiger Talk on this Tuesday, December the 19th. And Ty Engelbright, and I have the pleasure of welcoming into the WPKY studios. I have Janie Tomek with Caldwell Igniting Voices. How are you?
Good morning, and good morning, Caldwell.
That's right, and we've been igniting voices for a little bit now, haven't we?
Since the first week of November, so yes, we're almost completing 2 months.
That's wonderful, and for those that are tuning in or just hearing about it, there's been a buzz about around the town and around the county about Caldwell Igniting Voices, but let's go back a little bit and do a review for those that might not have heard, and let's discuss what Caldwell Igniting Voices is.
All right, Caldwell Igniting Voices is just the organization of actually reaching out to every voice in Caldwell County. A planning committee is being very intentional to make sure every group, corner, even our churches have a chance to voice their concerns, their needs for Princeton to grow and develop, as well as recognize what we want to keep and preserve, which are our strengths. And all of this information will be compiled with the partnership of the University of Kentucky's Community Economic and Development Program. And it will return to Princeton, Caldwell County, in the form of a suggested report for priority goals and for a vision. So that the result is for our community to help determine a common vision that we can all work towards one or two goals that really leads to growth and development in Caldwell County.
Well, and that's very important. As a matter of fact, this grassroots movement sort of stemmed from another sort of assessment of Princeton and Caldwell County, I guess. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. This process actually started almost 2 years ago. About 20 individuals who have a passion and love for this community and concern that our population is not growing as it has in the past. Met just to determine were there interventions that can be considered in order to sort of jumpstart different methods and processes to help us grow. And out of that, we again, for the first time, connected with the University of Kentucky and worked with a program called First Impressions. And First Impressions teams came into Princeton and Caldwell County and visited. These were teams that were not from this area, and they literally noted their first impression. If we're going to be a community that grows, then we have to be a community that attracts not only tourists and visitors and new residents, but also a community that retains our residents. So from that report, really stemmed their first suggestion and priority was what was sort of a missing link for Caldwell County versus other small towns that are growing was that we did not have a clear vision, a clear common community vision to work towards. There are many organizations in Caldwell County that are doing excellent things for this community and for growth, but there was not any one particular vision where we're all working together.
It's interesting because I have been in one of the open forums where we've had the questions, and it's funny how very, very, different age groups, different genders, different backgrounds. It's sort of all. It's amazing how common some of the answers are, and yet there are a few surprises along the way as well of how. Generational, probably mainly, of how you see things. But let's talk a little bit about the questions that are asked during the forum, just so people can understand. Because basically, the way I view this is it's like a roadmap of where we might go together from by compiling this data. So tell us about the questions that people can expect if they attend these forums.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
There's 4 questions, and there is a question on our heritage, and the question simply asks, what are the the strengths that we want to preserve and protect in the next 10, 20, 30 years. What should we keep in our community? We don't want to just recreate a total new community. We have a lot of wonderful culture and history and traditions that we should build on and actually exploit more in regards to term of tourists. So that's the first question. What do we preserve and what do we keep and protect? The second question is on change. If we're going to grow and develop, what do we need to do to change, especially within a 10-year process, thinking 10 years down the road, what do we need to change? The third question is the vision, and a lot of times it is sort of repeating some of the comments through the change process. But after we talk about what changes need to occur, then we look at what changes do we really want to hang on to 10 years down the road. What's going to, again, create that community development and growth. And the fourth question then is the action. What can we actually do right now to begin working towards this vision that will be a better place, not only for your family and Caldwell County residents to live and work, but again, to attract new residents.
Yeah, very interesting. And, I think most of us as humans can be sometimes a little resistant to change, especially, you think of somewhere like Nashville, big enough city, big enough town, yet it still has a small town in a way feel to it. But, to think that you'd have to battle that traffic all day long down there is just something that does not interest me. And I think people say, well, what if we get all this growth here? What if we get that and it changes, our way of life? I think that scares people, but yet I don't think this is anything to be scared of. This is a process, and this is a process about, I think, how all of us come together to make it a better place economically, historically, in many realms. And so that's kind of, I think, the end result of all this data.
Yes, for sure. We have a wonderful community, and I know I have no regrets choosing this community to raise our children. And so we just want to continue, again, to improve on the great things we have as well.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, there are opportunities for you out there to participate in this. And if you've not had your voice heard or have attended one of these open forums, these focus group sessions, then you have an opportunity to do so, especially today and as we move forward. So we're going to take a String Beans Coffee House break. We're going to come back, and then we will tell you about these sessions where you can participate and have your voice heard in the Caldwell Igniting Voices open forums. So those are coming up around the area. So stay tuned for that. Janie and I will be back. You're listening to Tiger Talk on your hometown radio station, WPKY. It's 8:13.
String Beans Coffee House in downtown Princeton specializes in made-to-order espresso drinks. Stop by Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to noon and enjoy a pick-me-up. You can also enjoy fresh-baked scones, homemade chocolate chip and oatmeal raisin cookies, and espresso brownies that'll keep you going all day long. They're also open on Saturday from 9 to 2. String Beans Coffee House on Lower Main in Princeton. Great coffee and more in a great atmosphere on Lower Main in downtown Princeton. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to shop for delicious homemade goodness. Hancock's makes their own fresh chicken salad, pimento cheese, salads, and a variety of mouth-watering desserts sure to please your entire family. While at Hancock's, be sure to visit their meat department for the best selection of USDA choice meats in the area. Hancock's Neighborhood Market in Cadiz, hometown, homemade goodness, and the Hancock name you know and trust for quality for your family. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz.
Since 1978, Perry's Floors and More has been selling, installing, and servicing homeowners throughout Western Kentucky with quality flooring and workmanship. Perry's Floors and More carries luxury vinyl plank and luxury vinyl tile, carpet, window treatments, and more. Quality brands like Mannington, Shaw, Tarkett, Beaulieu, and Flexitech. There is a reason why we say you can walk on our reputation. Come see Bill and Lucy at 127 West Market Street or call 270-365-9869.
All right, we are back here on Tiger Talk at 8:15. Janie Tomek in studio with Caldwell Igniting Voices, and we're talking about some open forums for your voice to be heard. And Caldwell Igniting Voices wants to hear from you. And it's pretty easy. It's actually these sessions are very enjoyable. I've participated in one. You only have to do it once. They take about 45 minutes. But Janie, explain a little bit what they can expect. I know we just talked about the questions that would be presented, but talk about how it works and then where someone might participate in these programs.
All right. The sessions, I think the greatest blessing for me and others who have led sessions are that the individuals really enjoy the sessions. They enjoy the conversation. A lot of times they will say they appreciate that others have some concerns, similar concerns. And I think in particular what's nice to hear that they feel like they have a voice, that someone really is listening to their voice. And that's what this is about. It really is about your voice, nothing else. So the sessions are primarily really around the 4 questions because it's time for us to listen and record your thoughts. The sessions, matter of fact, today we have 4 sessions. And although the Planning Committee has been intentional to reach the different clubs and social groups and civic clubs that already exist in our community, as well as our government, they're always open to anyone else. And we're continuing to work within that realm of what exists in our community. But today it's string beans. We have an 8:45 coffee session, and coffee is complimentary.
Can't beat that.
By our chamber, Princeton Caldwell Chamber of Commerce. So if you're out or about or need a cup of coffee, drop by for about 45 minutes, and I think you will enjoy your time and conversation. Then we also have 3 more lunch dates today at String Beans, starting at 11, again at 12, and again at 1. So we're trying to make sure there's convenient times for individuals, especially working individuals, to have an opportunity. So come to String Beans. There you can order a lunch, and again, eat, work, and make sure your voice is heard. The sessions are very informal. I think very comfortable.
They are.
We want to make sure, again, the individual is there to voice their strengths and concerns. So we want them comfortable in the environment.
They are somewhat interactive. And, they are interactive, but there's there's no reason to be shy, and there's no reason to think, well, what I say is not important or wrong. There's nothing wrong. I mean, you can say, they want to hear what you're thinking.
Absolutely. There's no judgment, and we don't put or ask you to consider your thoughts based on finance, monies, in regards, because this should be what our priorities are, and then we work around if what is a priority, then you attach your budgets to your priority. So we really open that floor up. It's not a debate.
It's facilitated by someone who keeps it flowing and keeps the time set just about 45 minutes.
Yes, it's a very organized process, and we do honor your time. We know if you're giving your time, when we say we're going to start, we will start, and we're going to end on time as well.
Yeah.
The irony is most sessions we have ended, but the individuals in the group want to stay, and we have something called a parking lot, and we come back to it, and they like to stay and then really discuss some of the items on the parking lot. So it has been a very positive experience, I think, not only for us, but for those who have participated. But we don't want to forget that there is a survey. because sometimes it's just not convenient for
Yep.
individuals. And I think Ty has that survey
Yeah,
accessed
it's on WPKY.
WPKY.
Yep.
And so we encourage to take the survey. We still need voices. We are going to probably be around 400 at the end of this month, but we would like more. This really is about voice. So take the survey or attend a group. There are 2 other sessions coming up in January. We will close this out the end of January. I know it's hectic around Christmas right now, so we extended it through January. January the 2nd, we'll be with the Fredonia Writing Club. And January the 4th, we're with Fredonia Historical Society, and we visited the Lions Club in Fredonia last week and had a wonderful session, and they really wanted us to come back. So, again, we're trying to reach the different corners of Caldwell County, and we'll be continue to work on those areas.
Well, that's fantastic. If you're out there in the Cobb area, we want to hear from you. If you're out in the Farmersville, Crestville, Shady Grove area, we want to hear from you. And there are other sessions as well. I think the First Baptist Church senior group, they're meeting on the 27th. That's a Wednesday.
Yes.
And it's not just for the First Baptist seniors. You know, Caldwell Igniting Voices wants to hear from senior adults as well. And you can join that session. And I think they are going to probably grab some lunch locally after the session. It's not necessary that you go to lunch, but they would love to have you. That's at the Christian Life Center.
Yes, and that is our Young Energetic Seniors, and that group is not just First Baptist Church members. It is a group that travels together, and it is open to any senior who would like to participate.
And they're going to do that at 11 a.m.
Yes.
on the 27th. So in summary, this data will be compiled by the University of Kentucky, and then we will get a report back. Caldwell Igniting Voices will get a report back from them as far as the findings, and this will be presented at some point.
Yes, we actually shipped the data up to this point, which has been almost 25 different focus groups plus some survey information. So that all left yesterday and went to Lexington to begin the compilation.
That's wonderful. And I'd be remiss if I don't mention that the facilitators, there were probably close to 30 of these facilitators for these groups changed, and a lot of them, this is actually engaged our local high school. There's a group of facilitators at our local high school, and that's fantastic as well. They've really learned some leadership skills and about our community by implementing that into the high school.
It was a pleasure to watch our high school seniors who were involved. There were 5 to not only lead the high school and the teachers, but we had them also to lead some other trainings. One in particular was the Rotary Club. So that gives our students an idea of leadership, and also an investment involvement in our community. And that's how we get them back. That's how they return to our communities, to make sure they feel invested in our community.
No doubt about it. Well, watch the newspaper, the Times-Leader, listen to the radio station, and, of course, we can lead you to the survey online if you can't make any of these open forums. But Caldwell Igniting Voices would love to hear from you, would love to see you at these open sessions. Again, today down at String Beans, starting at 8:45, and that'll run they run about 45 minutes. So about 9:30, that one will wrap up, and then they go from 11 on through the lunch hour, 11, 12, and 1. So that's your chance today.
Yes, and thank you, Ty. Thank you for all the reporting and publicity, as well as our Times-Leader. They have done a wonderful job covering Caldwell Igniting Voices, so people, again, know what it is and know it is a vital part of this community and your voices, too.
Well, can't wait to see the compiled data, the report, when we get it back. Thank you so much, and Caldwell Igniting Voices for this movement and helping to improve where we live. I think it'll be exciting to see where we potentially can go from this data. So thank you so much, and Merry Christmas to you, Janie.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in today.
Everyone. And again, make sure your voice is heard. Thanks.
All right. That's Janie Tomek. She is with Caldwell Igniting Voices. And, folks, you have your chance to be a part of this forum, String Beans Coffee House today. Their first session gets underway at 8:45, takes about 45 minutes, and then they'll have sessions at 11, 12, and 1 o'clock today at String Beans. So go down and see the folks and let your voice be heard with Caldwell Igniting Voices. My thanks to Janie Tomek with Caldwell Igniting Voices. That's going to wrap up this edition of Tiger Talk. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. It is our regular extension program. We're also going to have some young rodeo kids, and who knows who else might drop by. And it will be tomorrow at 8 o'clock during the Tiger Talk. It's our extension program, and we invite you to join us tomorrow. Thank you so much for being with us today. On behalf of Janie Tomek